Ben, you want to put in your IFB? We have a guest joining us from a piece that I read this morning that I really enjoyed from Scott Hounsell. Scott, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show.
Thanks, Charlie. So glad to be with you.
Give me 1 sec. I still can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about. Let me see if I can get.
Can you say that again?
1 second. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, Scott. You got it. Okay. No, you got it. So Scott has this amazing piece, everybody, that says, "Excuse me while I call BS in Wisconsin." I've been talking about this for a couple days here, Scott. I want to focus. Can you just first give us your analysis of what happened in Wisconsin and all of the discrepancies? I have this highlighted. For instance, in Wisconsin, data suggests that there are issues that need looking into in 5 counties in particular: Washington, St. Croix, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Dane, Waukesha, and Ozawakie counties. What happened in Michigan, Scott? I mean, Wisconsin, not Michigan.
So in Wisconsin, you see a trend of data. So anytime you see trends of data, there's a line and it stays on the trend. Those data points fall along that trend line. With these 5 counties, they take off from the trend line. So again, data doesn't trend according to everything. If you take these 5 counties out, Biden averaged a negative 8.5% turnout compared to Obama's 2012 showing in the state. If you add these counties back in, or if you just in these counties alone, we see that Biden outdid Obama's turnout by 15% in one, 16% in another, 20% in another, 30%, 31% in the next, and the last one at 38.39%. These numbers just don't match anything else that happened in the state. They are statistical outliers.
Yeah, so you go through this piece by piece. We're talking about counties that are just miles away from each other that performed complete and polar opposites. Is that right?
Correct. So like in Ozawakie County, you have Biden outperforming Obama by 38.39%. But just to the south, the neighboring county to the south, which is actually Milwaukee, so you'd expect Milwaukee to be worse, if not multiple times worse. And yet Biden underperformed Obama's 2012 turnout by 4.57%. So we're talking about a 42% swing over a course of a matter of miles.
And so you mentioned here, you say in Dane County, which by the way is on our board here, Biden shot past Obama by 20.4%, another strange statistical bump. So are you in Wisconsin currently, or you know the state of Wisconsin pretty well, it sounds like. So Dane County is where the University of Wisconsin-Madison is.
Correct.
It's closed and shuttered mostly right now.
Correct.
So how is it that Joe Biden shot past Obama by 20.4% in the county where University of Wisconsin-Madison is?
We're also talking about 45,000 votes in a state that Biden only won by 20,000 votes. So in just Dane County. So again, it's a huge number that is pretty suggestive of what again, it's talking about organic growth. If growth over a period of time, you could expect a 5 or 7%. Suddenly, when you're talking about 20 points, when everything else in the state lagged, you're talking about synthetic or outside influences that altered that number by that much.
You say here, you go through county by county, and you end with, are you saying it's 100% fraud? You just want answers. Is there any movement right now into getting this understood or verified or at least discovered?
I really wish that I could give you an answer from that. Unfortunately, having not had any contact with the Trump campaign, I don't know exactly whether or not this data is being analyzed and pushed for it. I will say this: there's a lot of people that are a lot smarter than I on the legal team of the president that are I'm sure looking at numbers like this and using these as means of targeting or where to look for fraud, where to look for mail problems or mail ballot issues.
It's absolutely incredible. And so, I mean, if I believe so firmly that they stole Wisconsin from President Trump, and you say this very, very well in this state. Can you just play devil's advocate? What could their explanation possibly be for this? That Joe Biden had a wonderful ground game, that he was such a compelling candidate?
Well, here's the funny part about it, and this is what they're kind of left with two options. One is massive fraud. we committed fraud. The other one is, and that these counties that these 5 counties, they're all majority white. So either their argument is that white people didn't show up for Obama, racist white liberals didn't show up for Obama, or fraud. Because there really isn't a middle ground. Where's the other potential here? Again, going back to the fact that these counties are primarily white. They have not had turnouts levels of this in each of these counties. 96% turnout in Washington County, 96% turnout in St. Croix County.
Are you serious?
Yes, 95% in Waukesha and Ozaukee counties. I mean, these numbers are, having worked in political data for a long time, these numbers are statistically impossible.
Well, I know you work in political data, and I know you're not from Wisconsin because it's Waukesha. I'm giving you a hard time because I'm from Northern Illinois. But no, I'm so glad that you're diving deep into it, and it's you're trying to tell me they have 94% turnout. Now, I mean, is anyone having to answer for this? And so we have this BBC article. Where's my Gabon article here? I have an article here that is written by the BBC. It's actually fascinating. So you should go work for an NGO at the UN that wasn't a corrupt racket, because there's this article written by BBC that says, here's how you find and you spot voter fraud. Oh, here's our Stacey Abrams picture in case you just want to know who we're all working for. So there you go, Benny. So here's the, okay, no, not this one. Okay, here it is. Vote rigging. How to tell the telltale signs. So this was written by BBC, okay? And the BBC would go into third world countries and they would help train the democratic side, the side that wanted democracy, that didn't want corruption. Here's how you spot voter fraud. Okay, here's what they say. Number one, too many voters. They say you never get a 98 or 99% turnout in an honest election. They say even where voting is mandatory in Australia, they don't even crack 92%. Are you trying to tell me that with non-mandatory voting that there was 94% in what county? In Waukesha, Washington, or?
Waukesha had a 94.56% turnout. In Washington County, it was 96.6% turnout.
I mean, these numbers are impossible.
Right.
But what, I mean, I'm just trying to do a thought exercise. What would their answer possibly be? So
in the devil's advocate act is that that Wisconsin has same day registration. So you can walk into a polling place, register to vote, and vote in the same day. Those numbers have usually been someplace between 10 and 12% of the total electorate of those days of the day of election. However, if you remember, there was all this push for mail voting. So we'd have to assume that these people didn't register to vote, didn't ask for mail ballots, and didn't cast their ballots, despite the instructions from the Democrats for months that that's what they had to be doing. So again, I can't imagine that day of election voting would increase the numbers by this much.
No, it's impossible. And by the way, so you know what the other sign of fraud is if we were going into Gabon to try to find fraud? It says delay in announcing results. That's one of the other ones that they say when you're trying to look for fraud. Large number of invalid votes, more votes than ballot papers issued, results don't match, and a high turnout in specific areas. There you go, my friend. It says right here, high turnout in specific areas with irregularities. So if we were just coming into a third world and we're saying, I wonder like what actually might constitute. By the way, this is taxpayer-funded BBC, which is usually a pile of steaming trash. It's not exactly my favorite document to read. And it says, why would one particular area or one polling station have a 90% turnout while most other areas register less than 70%? Are you seeing that, Wisconsin?
So I haven't been able to get down on the precinct level because most of my data is based upon just what's available from the high-level stuff available from the state. However, you have to assume, like for instance, if you're talking about Washington County, that's the average turnout for all the polling locations.
Jeez.
So again, that's the whole county. So there's probably some places that were 90, and there's probably some places that were 102. And so you've got, again, and when you say 102, this is based upon registration. Yes, they have same-day registration. Yes, it could be more voters than what are registered on the rolls. All this talk. But again, to have that sort of turnout when it's never been that case in the past is definitely an issue.
It's more than an issue. So, Scott, in closing, I want to just reiterate the article. We have a lot of people emailing us asking about it. Redstate.com. Excuse me while I call BS in Wisconsin. It's Scott Hounsell, is that right?
Hounsell, it's like council, but with an H.
See, that's how I totally butchered that.
Hey, I screwed up Waukesha or whatever it is.
There you go. So, well, great. So just in closing, you believe with a high degree of certainty there is some funny business going on here in Wisconsin through your data analysis.
Correct. I don't believe that these numbers are organic.
I completely agree. Excuse me while I call BS in Wisconsin. Scott, thank you for joining the Charlie Kirk Show. How could people follow you on social media?
Houndsizzle, @Houndsizzle on Twitter, or you can just go to redstate.com/Scott Hounsell.
Thank you, my friend. We'll be hawking this. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Hounsell. I think that's cultural appropriation.